every mitzvah, right, there's the letter of the law. There's what the mitzvah obligates you to do. Okay?
Right.
But then there's the spirit of the law, the idea which underlies it. For example, you put on tefillin every day?
Yes.
Any problem with that?
No.
Okay. What do the tefillin symbolize? So the tefillin shalyat symbolize you subserviate your physical power to the service of God. What does the tefillin shalosh mean? You subserviate your intellect to the service of God. Now, you can put on tefillin every day, and that's fulfilling the letter of the law. But ask yourself the honest question. Do I subserviate every ounce of my physical strength to the service of God? And do I subserviate every drop of intellectual capacity to the service of God?
There's a difference between willingness to do so and ability to do so.
Even willingness. Okay, I won't talk about you. I won't put you on the spot. Me. Yeah. I don't. Okay? I'm not so frum. I got to tell you honestly, right? I can't tell you that every bit of my physical strength, every motion, everything I do is to serve the Rebbeinu Shleilu, or to say that every thought I think is to serve the Rebbeinu Shleilu. Okay? So you're off the hook. It's me. Now, it's not that way, right? So therefore, I put on tefillin, I fulfill the letter of the law. I don't fulfill the spirit of the law tefillin. Right? Now, Torah Shebaal Peh means, right, that which isn't written, which also obligates. So Torah Shebaal, so therefore I'm saying like this, that for example, part of Torah Shebaal Peh is that tefillin are black. Right? One says Ritzuas, that the Ritzuas are black, is Halach HaMoshe Messina. The straps of the tefillin, right? I don't think there would have been any objection to that. And what do you think? They objected? I don't want black Ritzuas. No, I want to be able to wear green Ritzuas. I don't want to be limited to black. It has to be. Why would they object to that? I don't think that aspect of Torah Shebaal Peh, which provides definitions to Torah Shebechsav, I don't think they would have found that objectionable at all. Well, why not? Right? It simplifies things. Right? Instead of being at a loss to figure out what am I supposed to do, the Torah Shebaal Peh tells me exactly.
Novel verses of Torah.
What?
Novel verses of Torah.
Well, that's the idea of novel verses of Torah. The idea of novel verses of Torah is because everything the Torah tells you is an aspect of being kaddish. So therefore, if you're a novel verses of Torah, that means you're living by the letter, but you're not fulfilling the spirit. But the spirit comes from Torah Shebaal Peh. The spirit comes from delving into the mitzvahs and understanding what they're really getting at, what their reasons are, what's the ultimate objective. That obligates you to a much greater extent. That's tough. So they said, listen, we'll keep the letter of the law. That we're willing to do. But we have to dig in and figure out and live in accordance with the spirit. That's already very, very demanding. And that's, I think, the meaning of the Chazal is. That we're not ready to accept, that they have to be forced into accepting. Because when they had the story of Purim, then they accepted even Torah Shebaal Peh willingly. Now this, by the way, is the aymek of the Maral's pshat. The Maral says, where do you see in the story of Purim, that there was a Kabbalah of Torah Shebaal Peh? Where's this King of the Kiblu? Where's this? Did they actually say it verbally? We accept Torah Shebaal Peh. So Maral says something very cryptic. He says the mere fact that they accepted upon themselves to observe Purim is a Kabbalah of Torah Shebaal Peh. It's hard to understand what he means. But I think he means this Nakuda. As I don't know if we speak it out here, but the Rambam writes, the whole takana of Purim, right, is to bring out an idea which is implicit in Torah. There's an idea that's implicit in Torah that HaKadosh Baruch Hu listens to the tefillas of Klal Yisrael. And that idea does not obligate us per se to do anything. But it is an idea which is implicit in Torah. So when the Jews were keveya a holiday to celebrate this idea, that is embracing Torah Shebaal Peh. That is embracing the spirit of Torah as opposed to the letter of Torah. But in any case, this is what the Medrash Tanchuma says. That at Har Sinai they said Nasiv and Nishma, that was Torah Shebechsav, and the Kafalem Harkagigis, under duress, and the ultimate acceptance, Mechanaka, that was Torah Shebal Peh.
Sorry, I didn't understand the acceptance of the miracle of Purim.
No, the acceptance to observe the Yom Tov of Purim.
But that implies that at the time of Purim, they didn't accept it. They accepted it the following year.
That's what it means. The Kibbutz wisdom, when they accepted upon themselves to observe Purim, that was an implicit acceptance of Torah Shebal Peh.
So that was the following year.
Well,
it couldn't have been the same year because it would have had to be written.
Well, it says that year they observed Purim spontaneously.
I see.
And the next year it was legislated. Now, so keeping that in mind, so Rav Tzadok takes that as for granted that you know that, and he says like this. The main evil of Amalek is to mevatel Torah. When it came time to accept Torah Shebechsav, that's what was going to happen on Har Sinai. Torah Shebechsav, Bov is Garb Yisrael. Amalek started up with the Jewish people. In other words, you have to ask yourself the question. Amalek just came to attack, just at that moment, between Yetzias Mitzrayim and Maimon Har Sinai. Because they wanted to stop Kabbalah Torah. That was their kavanah. Va'al Kain, and this is why we find an amazing thing in the story of Amalek, Biza Hamila, that Amalek scorned the idea of Bris Milah. As it says in the Pasuk, Vayizanev Bucha. We're going to read Parsha Zohar, Vayizanev Bucha. They tailed you. And there's no way to translate that word. But the word Vayizanev means a tail, Zonav. A Maka Zonav. They smote us in the tail. So what does it literally mean? The simple pshat is like this, that they attacked the rear. The Jews were traveling through the desert, and they attacked the stragglers, the people that were all the way in the back. But Rashi brings a medrash that it refers to the bris milah, the tail. In other words, by animals, their tail is behind them. By men, their tail is in front of them. The bris milah is called the zonav, it's called the tail, right? And they cut off the bris milah. It says in the Medrash Tanchuma in the Zayar Kadosh, that Amalek, when they attacked the Jews, they cut off their bris milah, and they threw the milas up the Shemayim, and they said, "Here, take. This is what you chose. Here, take it." So, what is the idea behind that? Throwing the bris milas. This is what you chose. So he's just going to go off on a tangent and explain what that means, the scorning bris milah. And why is bris milah related to stopping Kabbalah Torah? The kavanasa, the meaning is al pi masha amru. It's based on a medrash, ba'akilas. Right? There was a certain person, Akilas. He was a famous convert. He ultimately converted to Judaism. He was a Gentile, and the medrash tells a story like this. He went to Adrianus Caesar, Hadrian, the Roman emperor, and he told him he wants to convert to Judaism. And Hadrian was not a lover of Jews. So he says, "You want to convert to Judaism? Like, what do you see in them? They're a lowly people." So he said, "I want to convert because afilu kat mushabahem, even the smallest child knows what HaKadosh Baruch Hu made on the first day, what HaKadosh Baruch Hu made on the second day, what HaKadosh Baruch Hu made on the third day." So there are things that the youngest child knows that the biggest scientists don't know. Now, do I have to explain that? Or is the pshat evident? It's pasha, right?
It's not evident to me.
Okay, so I'll explain it. You know, the scientist can describe how the world unfolded if you assume it unfolded in a natural way. Because if we work backwards from the present state and assume that everything came to be in a natural way, this is how it unfolded. But the one thing a scientist cannot tell you is the why. Why did it unfold the way it unfolded? Okay? And not only can the scientist not tell you that, therefore the scientist has embraced the fairly outlandish position that there is no why. In other words, nature does what it does. It doesn't do what it does for a reason. It just does what it does. This belief, by the way, goes all the way back to Aristotle. But Aristotle believed that in things that are manufactured, things that are made by people, there are four causes. Right? There is the material cause, which is what the thing is made of. There's the formal cause, which is what the thing is. There is the efficient cause, which is who made it. And there's the final cause, which is why. So, for example, if you see a pair of shoes, so what is the material cause? Leather. What is the formal cause? What is it? It's a pair of shoes. What is the effective cause? The efficient cause is the shoemaker who made it, the cobbler. What is the final cause? What is the objective? So someone should be able to walk without going barefoot. That's the objective, that's the purpose. Aristotle said, when it comes to natural things, there is no final cause. The final cause is one with the efficient cause. Nature just does what it does. It doesn't do what it does for a reason, it just does what it does. Now this is a point that Stephen Jay Gould wrote a book about. Wrote a book called Full House, where he says that the depiction of evolution in many early books is misleading. In other words, you see, you go to a classroom, you'll see a chart of the evolution of man. You'll see an amphibian coming out of the water, evolving into a reptile, evolving into a mammal, becoming a primate, and ultimately becoming a prehistoric man, and ultimately wearing a suit and tie and carrying a briefcase, going to the office, right? So you see this chart, and it looks like it's a directed process. In other words, that the process is designed to convert the amphibian into the human being. So his argument is that it's not a directed process at all. And therefore he says that the development of evolution is not linear, but rather it's like the branches of a tree. It's just that undoubtedly there are many, many dead ends, and only some of the branches continued into productive areas. But essentially there is no telos, there is no objective, there is no purpose. And that's how he answers one of the classic refutations to evolution. Everyone asks, what is the probability, what is the likelihood of starting with an amoeba and ending up with a human being? I mean, how many coincidences have to fall into place for that to happen? There's one in a zillion, gadillion chances. So it can't have happened. So he says, no. That's if you assume that it's a directed process, that this was the objective in the first place. It's not a very efficient way of doing it, because it's very unlikely to get to an objective. There is no objective. It's like the famous paradox. You bought a lottery ticket last night? What are your chances of winning? Right? 1 in a billion, right? If it was a lottery that was conducted not with the numbers, but like picking out of the hat, what's the chance that someone is going to win? 100%. Someone is certainly going to win. The chances of you winning is 1 in a billion, but someone is going to win. So the point he makes the following point, that the question of evolution is not what is the likelihood of any single result. What is the likelihood of there being some result? 100%. Because all the scientific theories are eliminating the idea of design and purpose. And that's what Bereshis at the bottom line means, no matter what, however you interpret it, literally, non-literally, but the bottom line is there's design and there's purpose. And that's why science and Torah are not going to, you're not going to be able to reconcile their different orientations merely by non-literal interpretation of the Bible, because we're dealing with two different issues, right? Now, however you understand the Ma'aser Bereshis, one thing emerges from the story of the 6 days, that there is a hierarchy. There is a Seder. And in that Seder, the human being is the capstone of the apex of existence. He is the tachlis, he is the objective, he is the telos. And that creates certain prerogatives that we have. Our prerogative to eat animals, our prerogative to eat plants, to use the world in which we use it, is all based on the idea that the world was created with man as being the ultimate tachlis. And that's what Akila Sagir said, that the Kodesh Shebahem knows something, right, that our greatest scientists don't know. I'm not saying that every kid in Cheder has quantum mechanics down, right? That would be crazy. Of course not, right? But there's something that they learn in Cheder, right, that no scientist will ever be able to discover, right? Which is that there is purpose, there is an objective, there's a goal. Therefore, I want to join them, he said. So anyway, so he says, so Hadriana said to him, listen, says, you want to learn? He says, okay, go and learn. But don't get a bris. Don't get a bris. So he told him, right, Lamat Teirasan, Val Tomo. Right, learn their Torah, but don't get a bris. V'amar lo, so he said, Eni yochel lomo Teirasan, Emeinu mo. I can't learn their Torah if I don't get a bris, right? Because it says in the pasuk, Magid Devarav LiYaakov, because Baruch Hu teaches his Torah to Yaakov, Lo aslachen l'chol goy, and did not do so to any nation, right? So if I don't circumcise myself, I can't learn Torah. Now, the question is, what does it do with learning Torah? That pasuk isn't talking about bris milah. The pasuk is talking about being a Jew. So it's obvious that when the Medrash is referring to bris milah, it means conversion. It means conversion. So we explain. So the Hainu, Shem Yomo v'lo yizgayer lo yoyel hamila. Let's say a person would get a bris but not convert. The bris doesn't help. Shu b'chlal areilim. He's still an oral. So the Gemara says a very interesting thing. The Gemara says in the Dharm, it's Mishnah, if a person makes a neder that I'm not going to have any benefit from areilim, right? I'm not going to have any benefit from the uncircumcised. So he is mutter ba'areila Yisrael. He's allowed to have benefit from uncircumcised Jews. V'oser b'mulei Yaakov. And he's not allowed to have benefit from circumcised Gentiles. Meaning a circumcised Gentile is called an arel, and an uncircumcised Jew is called a mole for this purpose. Right? So what is the idea? In other words, bris milah doesn't mean simply that part of the body has been surgically operated upon. In other words, if you are not a Jew, you're still an oral. You're still an oral. And therefore it's not going to help. Okay? Now, so that's what he told him. It's not an option. I have to have a bris, I have to convert, because Torah is only given to the Jews. Torah only opens the secrets to the Jews.